So what type of music do you make?
Like I said, my music is words that I feel from the heart. In the long run, what I mean by that, it's like, you know, we all live in our life on how we live in it, right? You feel me? But we all understand the biblical and the ghetto. You gotta understand that. You feel me? You hear it in the music. So since that's the case, you know, music be a fine hit for everybody to listen to understand what it's good, to understand what the words you feel out of that book, right?
Yes. So listen. What we going over is we showing you because you one of our young men, right? In Israel, you one of the young men of Israel. As a young man in Israel, you have to be ready to uplift your people. Period, point blank. As men of a nation, the men of the nation protects the nation. They provide for the nation, right? So when you look at our nation, the nation of Israel, we don't even know who we are to start with as a whole. Some of us do. That's why we out here, to get to our younger brothers and tell them who they are. You already know who you are, right? But you still deal with some of the things that may be holding you back, which we all dealt with certain things that clouded our thoughts. But you got a skill, right? You got a skill to give a gab, to make music and things of that nature. But Israel, we always was fruitful in music and things. But one thing are your forefathers, because the Bible was written by your forefathers, one thing that your forefathers didn't know was if they wasn't at home or they wasn't about their people, they didn't want to sing. Let's get that in Psalms 137. Watch this, because when we went into captivity before, right, we lost the urge to want to sing, because when we sung our songs, it was about our living in our land, doing things for our culture, our traditions. Today, the things that we do has nothing to do with our culture or beliefs and things of that nature, right? Read.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 137 and verse 2. We hanged our harps upon the willows in the midst thereof. For there they that carried us away captive.
Stop. So when we was carried away captives before, we hung our harps on the willows. These were the trees that we was walking by. In other words, we hung up our talents and the things that we did for a moment. Not that we didn't have a desire to do it anymore, but the key word was that we went into captivity, right? So the game changed, right? We no longer was able to be ourselves, which are the children of God at that time, right? Go ahead and read.
For there they that carried us away captive.
Now those that carried us away captive, we went into captivity by the so-called white man. But he wasn't the only one that took into captivity. The Arabs took us to captivity. The Chinese took us to captivity. When you do your history, you'll find out we went into captivity multiple times by other nations. They all had their hands in on the Israelites because we're the talented ones. Look, think about the record labels today. Who run the record labels? The so-called Jewish man that call himself who you are runs the record labels. So read it again.
For there they that carried us away captive.
The Jewish people were part of that carrying us into captivity. They the ones who financed the slave ships. So they is talking about them. Read.
Required of us a song.
They required of us a song. They wanted us to sing a song. They wanted to put us into their production companies. They wanted to sign us to do these deals, right? To sing what?
And they that wasted us required of us mirth.
Wait, it said they that wasted us. So it's even letting you know that these that going to be asking a song of you are going to be the same ones that are going to put you into slavery and kill us. What happened to us in slavery? They hung us. They killed our mothers, our fathers, our daughters, our unborn children. They didn't give two craps about us, right? So it says that these same individuals, when they take us into captivity, they're going to require a song of you after they wasted you. And the wasting part is they wasted who you are, your mind, right? So go ahead and read again.
Wasted us, required of us mirth, saying, sing us one of the songs of Zion.
Sing us one of what?
The songs of Zion.
They conquered us, they captured us, they killed us. Then they're going to tell us to sing a happy song of one of our home songs.
That's crazy.
Right? Right? They asked us to sing a song that reflected our happiness. It reflected when we was during the time of living in Jerusalem, right? So they wanted us to do that because when they captured us for entertainment. Think about today. Look at the arenas, right? They're not the ones jumping out the gyms. We are. They're not the ones that's filling up the stadiums with their music. We are. They're not the one that's at the baseball or diamonds. We are. They're sitting in the booths just like the Romans did back in the Colosseums. Have done then, they doing now because we are in Empire State of Rome. It haven't changed. Go ahead and read.
saying, sing us one of the songs of Zion. How shall we sing the Lord's song in a strange land?
So even your forefathers said, how can I sing a song in this strange land? How can I sing a song if I can't even call myself an Israelite without them saying I'm anti-Semitic, right? How can I do these things if I'm not who I am or living according to the way I am? So it's very important that we have to learn, and us as older men, we have to make sure our younger men remember. And just like we begin to remember, our job is to come out here and to capture our brothers. Why? Because our brothers are busy doing so many things, because we was busy doing the same things. So when we woke up, like in the major, when we woke up, we got to go ahead, we got to wake everybody else up, right? Okay, so that's a story of how your forefathers seen things. And just like your fathers, we ought to be the same, right? Let me get 1 Corinthians 10:21, because I know you was saying, like, you know, I do this, I do that, right? I read, you know, I study, but I still dwell in certain things that I know it's not right, but over time I'm gonna get it, right? That's what you're hoping for, right? So the time that we living in, the time that we in right now, we gotta hurry up. But the Most High, He's straightforward. He gangster. Right. Read that.
This is the book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 10 and verse 21.
Bring it out.
Ye cannot drink the cup of the Lord and the cup of devils.
He was sitting at the table. You sit at the table with the Lord. He said, look, give me that cup. You can't drink this cup with me and drink this cup. You can't live righteously. Raise your brothers up. Teach them how to keep the Sabbath. Teach them how to marry their women. Teach them how to eat clean foods. Teach them how to do the things that the princes of the earth were supposed to be doing. Rather, drink the cup of making music that talk about prostitution, making music about selling drugs, making music about killing your brother when he get pissed off with you, right? That's the other cup. Read that again.
Ye cannot drink the cup of the Lord and the cup of devils.
So you cannot just sit. You can't say, look, I'm gonna smoke weed and I'm gonna serve God. He just said you can't drink both cups. You sitting there at the table with 2 cups trying to drink both at the same time. That's crazy. Right? You can't do that. So you have to make a decision. Right? Read.
Ye cannot be partakers of the Lord's table and of the table of devils.
Look, God said, look, you can't even sit at my table if you want to drink that mess, because the stuff that they're giving us is destroying us. So why would you want that? You want the best stuff, right? We want the best things. Do you have any children?
Yeah, I got one.
What you got, a boy or girl? Oh, you got a young prophet, right? From the tribe of Judah, right? So now you got to raise that child up. But how are you going to raise that child up if you're not applying and living it the laws of God the way you're supposed to be doing it? How are you going to do that? We got to do it by example. Okay, so we got to do it by example. So we got to raise the children. We can't be when you walk around the house smoke weed, even if you ain't not smoke weed in front of him, he smell it on you. When I used to smoke weed, my son used to say, I went to school and they was laughing at me because my clothes smell like smoke. My kid told me that, right? And at that time, I didn't want to hear it because I wanted to smoke, right? But when they got old enough to begin to make sense to me, then that's when I started, you know what, I got to change, right? We got to teach our children wisdom. Let me get that in 2 Timothy. Yes, and I'm going to show you how to get it. Listen, let's go to 2 Timothy 3 and 14. No, 3 and 15. 2 Timothy 3:15, because as a young man that got a son, you're supposed to be teaching that son wisdom. Right. Now, how he's going to get that wisdom? And this was a common thing of the Israelite man, of the Judite man. This was a common thing about us, of us knowing the wisdom, knowing when the Sabbath starts at Friday sundown, the Saturday sundown. We shut down dealing with the other nations. We didn't buy their crap. We didn't do none of it. We may have liked it, but we only did it when we was allowed to do it to stay in line with God. Right? Are you there? Yes, 15, read.
Here's the book of 2 Timothy, chapter 3 and verse 15. And that from a child thou hast known the Holy Scriptures.
So it said, as a child, we have known the Holy Scriptures. Today, when you look in our community and we look at our people today, right? Do our children know the Holy Scriptures? Do your son know the Holy Scriptures? Well, you know what I'm saying? But you would know if he did, because he's going to be speaking it. He's going to walk like it. How old is your son? He's not. Yeah, my son, I got a son, he's 10, right? And when he was 5, when he was learning the laws, he understood that birthdays was a sin. We was at a pool, and another nation was celebrating a birthday. At 5 years old, he told me he wanted to get up and leave. I said, why? You've been talking about going swimming all day. Why you want to leave now? He said, man, they over there celebrating birthdays. I don't want to be around it. At 5.
Right.
That's wisdom.
Right.
He knew to get up and move from something that was going to, because they was asking him that he wanted cake, ice cream, and all that stuff. He didn't want to deal with that stuff, right? Huh? Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So go ahead and finish reading that. Read it again from the top.
This is the book of 2 Timothy, chapter 3 and verse 15. And that from a child thou hast known the Holy Scriptures.
So as a child, we supposed to know the Holy Scriptures, meaning that you're supposed to be teaching it. We're supposed to be learning it as a child. In Christianity, in the churches, that was an old man game. Nobody really got serious about Christianity and going to the church until we got old, until we did all our bids. You know how it was. I used to do the same thing. That's why the Christianity church are full of old men and old women, majority women, right? But that's an old man's game, right? But the Bible, if they was really doing things according to the Bible, because they're not, the children will be what? Read.
And that from a child thou hast known the Holy Scriptures, which are able to make thee wise.
Or which are able to make you what?
Wise.
So the Holy Scriptures is what's going to make your children wise, to make your son wise. So that means you got to feed him the Scriptures.
Right.
But guess what? You got to feed yourself the Scriptures. Yeah. But how are you going to do that? How you doing today, my brother? All right. So we out here, we talking about how to gain wisdom, what we got to do as men, right? So listen. You have to gather. The way you're going to get that understanding is by gathering around your brothers, right? And learn how to learn.
What is a nation? Nation is family. Nation is community. Nation is men leading by example. Nation is women's support. Nation is children with role models.